I'd like you to take about 5 minutes, I think, to reflect on what you've heard, because there was quite a lot there on what the Cardinal had to say. And you might just need a little bit of time to process it with some people beside you. And could I ask you to make a note on your evaluations, your impressions, what you've been left with, what you've taken from Cardinal Nicholl's speech. So rather than us discussing it at this point in time, give it time to filter and to percolate, and just make some notes for yourself, because it's easy to forget, isn't it? And congratulations to all of those who received their certificates. You've probably, still on a high. So talk about that too if you want to. So take 5 minutes to have, a discussion or a quiet reflection, whatever works for you. Okay, thank you. Right, so this session, keeping together is progress. Right, well, when Mother Teresa was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1979, she said, "When we work hard all day long, it feels like we're only a drop in the ocean. But if our individual drops were not in the ocean would be dry." So without your individual contributions to marriage care, our ocean would be dry. And together, we have achieved so much over the past 12 months. And I think the Cardinal made reference to that. But I'm going to go just a slightly different route and look at what we have achieved in marriage care together over the past 12 months. And I'd really like to point out and to highlight and say it loud and clear that the achievements are yours, right? And many of the initiatives and the achievements throughout the year have been volunteer-led. And without that, we wouldn't have achieved much at all. And just very briefly, just cover some of those initiatives. We introduced a domestic abuse protocol so that our counsellors could identify if it was safe to work with a couple and have a protocol to work through that to use in supervision. And the rolling out of that protocol was taken on by a domestic abuse working group, the DOG, okay, and led very ably by Adrian Tooth and his team, and they have just put so much work into that. And you as practitioners will be reaping the benefits of that, because the training is now happening regionally. And again, our volunteer trainers are out there, doing the training, and it is compulsory for all our counselling practitioners to have undergone that domestic abuse protocol training. We're giving it a year to make sure that it's implemented and embedded. I don't know whether Cloud Symphony means much to many of you in the room. It means an awful lot to us, all right? We have been eating, sleeping and breathing it for some time. It is the new system. Actually, I might have the terminology wrong here, but I'll try and explain a little bit. The aim is that all marriage preparation bookings will come through the National Appointments Service, as they do for counselling, right? And that will give us a way of gathering a lot of information about our couples, and also provide the couples with, a seamless service, and free you up as volunteers, for a different type of contact with couples. So you haven't got answer phones full of messages and calls you have to return, and, booking forms to fill in and all of that. You can then make your contact with the couples and welcome them to your centre. But that's the Cloud Symphony project in a nutshell. Mark would go on much greater length about it, as he did, if you'll remember, at the national training event. So you'll all remember that, so I don't need to. Mind you, if you can't remember what you wrote on the application form for this conference, I can't be that confident that you remember. But it's all available on the website and in the newsletters and all of that. But anyway. But that project is being managed by Denise Wilkinson, who's the head of centre in Wrexham. And she's just been doing a sterling job. And like all IT projects, it has its challenges. But Denise has managed to keep that moving and to keep our requirements at the forefront and to negotiate, with the Cloud Symphony company. Again, she's a volunteer and she's given huge amounts of her time. We've got the Heads of Centre induction, again, that will have been talked about before, and the mentoring of new heads of centres, and that's Cecilia Campbell has developed that and is doing the mentoring for our new heads of centres coming in. A wonderful service. All the training, and we'll be looking in a couple of minutes at all the training that has been done in the last 12 months, but that's all done by our volunteers, by you. The CRC, that's the Certificate in Relationship Counselling, led by Paul Dempsey and his wonderful team. And this is Paul's second year, being involved in it. And the commitment is enormous, the numbers of weekends and all the rest that goes with it, the planning and the feedback for the candidate. And it's just a huge, huge commitment. And Marriage Care have been training their counsellors, I suppose, since the beginning. And it's just wonderful that we can still do that and that we have the expertise in-house and that wonderful level of expertise and professionalism that we can train our own counsellors, continue to do the relationship training with them. The new supervisors, in order to counsellors need supervision, so we put on a short notice because of the shortage of supervisors, new supervisors course, and that's led by Pauline Leach and Jenny Hughes and Janine Murray. Again, a very professional, experienced team, and they are mentoring and training the next generation of supervisors. But they're not going anywhere yet, I don't think. They'll still be around, yeah. And training the new marriage preparation course facilitators, some of whom received their certificates just now. Again, we have a band of dedicated trainers, Maggie, Rose, Fran, Maura, Glenda, Jane. Most of them are here. They're going around the regions, training the groups. And we've the same with the focus training. I would also really like to mention the clinical issues team, a group of supervisors who have agreed to be there should we, Stelios and I, have a clinical issue that we'd like some input on, and they have just been, amazing, and their input has been so helpful to us, and the speed at which they respond. We had one last week, and next thing, there was an email from Spain, just getting out of the pool, about to have my drink, but this is my view. Right? This is what I think, on holiday abroad and yet responding to a need for marriage care. Just invaluable. We're also looking at EFT, and there can't be anybody in the room who doesn't know what EFT is, but I'll say what it is. Emotionally focused therapy, right, which is our new model for couples counselling that we have been integrating over the past few years. And the time has come for us to review that, how we embed it and what the future needs will be by way of resources. And Joy Wanless has taken on a role in looking at that, along with all the other things she does, because she is one of those trainers and supervisors, etc., mentioned earlier. And I think the local publicity initiatives that are going on, you're being one, and I'm not looking at you for any specific reason, Catherine McFarlane, only that she's become a local celebrity in Oxford because she just keeps appearing now in the Oxford News. I don't think it's safe to go into Waitrose anymore, Catherine, is it? Without being recognised. But those initiatives are, they're yours. You are doing that, and we just haven't at the national level got anything like the resources to be able to do all of that for you. But you're just picking it up and going with it, and there's been some great things, and we'll have a look at some of them. I think also the maintaining the centre links with diocese, and being involved in all kinds of working parties, because we don't work in isolation, and I mean we're part of something bigger, greater, and so many of you are maintaining those links and creating new links and working within your diocese, as well as your work with marriage care. So, giving all the time. So, and on that, actually, I don't know if Margaret Kay is here, but she has done some sterling work in Shrewsbury Diocese. And I know David Chiswell at the moment is working hard in Portsmouth Diocese. And quite a lot of you have been involved in the marriage preparation reviews going on within your own diocese. And at a national level, Mark and I and Maggie from Birmingham, and who else was in there? I've forgotten. And Margaret, yeah, were on the national. The words are gone. Looking at the framework, the national framework for marriage preparation that Cardinal Nichols referred to. So marriage care are also involved in that, and our expertise is being input into that. I mean, when I couldn't single out every single volunteer, because you all do so much, but I cannot not mention Tony Capeburn-Smith, because Tony, I think we've adopted him at the national office now because he's there so often. I mean, he's a member of staff now. He comes in and makes his own tea, and finds a spare desk. But he does such a wonderful job on analysing the statistics and all the finance stuff as well, which I don't, worry too much about, because Tony and Margot will worry about that. So there's all kinds. And then, the finance committee, they're all volunteers. The board of directors, all volunteers as well. So as Jean Marsh once said when I was a very young marriage care person, whereas Jean, she said, the organisation is the volunteer, or the volunteer is the organisation. Did you say that, Jean, once? You said it on tape, so I've got it, so it's okay. It's on tape, we have it. Yeah. So you are the organisation, I think is what I'm saying. I think looking back on the year, some centres have grown so much. The marriage preparation has certainly increased in Manchester, for example, Oxford as well, and Reading. And that's through local initiative. That's, the heads of centres and the people in the centre going out there and making the connections, talking the talk. And a few centres have struggled and found themselves struggling because key personnel leave, or a head of centre steps down, or a couple of counsellors, for whatever reason, might be moving or for ill health or retire. And some of them do retire, we do. Some people in marriage care retire, but we'll have to hold up the Turners, who a lot of you will know, up in Preston, who have given 100 years between the two of them to marriage care. Now, come on, isn't that just amazing? Yeah. I think, even though they would deny it, but I think Mary dragged John in because Mary's parents were involved in CMAC. So in actual fact, the trail goes way back, probably to the beginning of marriage care, really. And John, as a young lawyer or whatever he was, he married Mary, and next thing he was part of marriage care. And he still is, they still are. So, and we are going to lose some people always. And I know Jim Woods in Chelmsford is standing down this year. Jim's done a lot of work for us. Mariette Bowl in Wimbledon. I don't know how many years Mariette has been around. Do you know, Tony? In the 70s, maybe. 30 odd years, yeah. And it's sad to see people go, but what a wonderful, wonderful thing they've done to all those years to marriage care. So I suppose if you look at the silver linings, and I'll talk about a few centres struggling. Excuse me. We had a centre with Newport Centre, who the centre was virtually closed because the head of centre was gone, and it was in disarray. So there was nothing really happening there. And then the Holy Spirit, a wonderful couple from Cardiff, marriage preparation providers, who lived not that far from Newport, popped their hands up and said, actually, he said, I'll take on the role of head of centre at Newport. And his wife said, well, I'm happy to do marriage preparation at Newport with my husband. So we get a head of centre and a couple to do marriage preparation. And then the blessings continue. She says, well, I'm a qualified couples counsellor. I could counsel for marriage care in Newport. So we get yet another role. Right? And no doubt from that enthusiasm and that commitment and that amount of giving, that's a centre that will flourish. Thank you very much. You too. Not just centres have struggled. We at the national team have struggled as well. We've lost personnel. We've had some long-term sickness. Our capacity has been, maybe reduced. However, these are temporary, and it's how we, cope with them and get on with it is what's important. So, I think all I need to say further, I've kind of lost the run of myself, nothing new. Yes, I suppose really to say that it's through your contribution and what you're giving is how we're able to respond to the clients, which is why we exist, the most important thing. And also to meet our government targets, which is what helps us to provide the services, to the funding, gives us the funding. So thank you so much. And so let's have a look at what has been achieved. A little bit of death by PowerPoint. Okay. It's okay, lunch is coming up. Let me have a look. So I've just put them a few headings according to the strategic priorities that the board had chosen last year. So understanding the difference we make, right? Improving outcomes and reporting on impact. Because actually, unless we're making a difference, we might as well pack up and go home. Yeah. Because who are we serving? Ourselves? No. So unless we're making a difference in the lives of our clients, then we don't have a purpose. So let's have a look at what some of our clients have said. So I've just chosen one from marriage preparation course and one from Focus there. Those of you who are working in marriage preparation and Focus will be very familiar with this type of quote. Okay. All right. And from a counselling client, it helped us transform our marriage to the loving, happy, well-equipped for present and future difficulties entity that it is now. Interesting phrase there. And the counsellor was an empathic, insightful, supportive and challenging. Pardon? Should you recognise who it is? No? Sorry. Or is it a misspelling? Oh, so it is, yeah. Really sharp today. Yeah, they spotted it, Mark. They're on the ball. You said they were all going to sleep. They've passed the test. Who typed that up? Anyway, okay. Do you get it? Yeah. Okay. Show a bit of humanity, folks. Okay, I think that's just wonderful. And again, it's just one of the many, many responses we get from our clients. And, 99% of them are just as wonderful. So that's a little taste of what our clients say by way of evidence. And in your packs, which you don't need to look at now, you will have just the highlights of the DFE evaluation report summary. Again, that's something you've heard about before. We talked about it at the national training event and at the Heads of Centres conference. So the information is there. The links are on our website if you want to see the full report on that. And let me see, I think I have a copy of it here. Just a couple of the highlights in case you haven't had a chance to read it yet. I think some very interesting information on the kind of demographics of the couples. And this was independent research here now. 91% of the couples interviewed were already living together. That doesn't surprise us. 12% already had a child. They were on average 32 years old. And 88% of those who attended Marriage Care's marriage preparation service found it useful, even though 25% had wanted, only 25% had wanted to attend from the start. I was really surprised with that high, actually. Yeah, they're usually don't find quarter of the room that delighted to be there. But anyway, and on our counselling, a significantly higher proportion of Marriage Care's clients, 55%, reported being completely satisfied with the counselling they received. And the research revealed strong evidence of a significant change in relationship satisfaction, well-being and communication. So I think up to this point we can take it that we're making a difference. Okay, and the challenge now is to continue to do that. Yeah. So we can do that by working together. Continuing with the monitoring and evaluation, and the new Cloud Symphony project is going to help us with that, because clients will be able to fill that in online before and after the interventions or the counselling. So it's about doing it together. Another one of the strategic priorities was to grow, develop and nurture our volunteers, because without you, we don't have anything to offer. So what progress have we made? So we've, 90 new people have joined Marriage Care. Okay, we've lost some people as well through natural, wastage. We've had over 90 new volunteers in all the different roles, across the centre support and practitioners. We've introduced the induction for the heads of centres and for Route 2 counsellors. We'll say a bit about those in a moment. And training and CPD, which we do a lot of. 356 volunteers attended in the year. Training and CPD provided by the organisation. That's quite a figure. And we've also had the communications review, which was conducted by Keith from Hereford with some of the other heads of centres, which fed us back some very useful information. So who's new? Right, so who is new? Who joined us since last year? Up. Stand up. Stand up. Come on, Giovanni, you can do it. I forget. Let's have a look. Right, okay. Great. Okay, you're very welcome. And yes, the Route 2 counsellors, they are counsellors who have already got a qualification in couples counselling and who will join Marriage Care. So they don't need to do our certificate in relationship counselling, but they need an induction route into Marriage Care. So it's been quite surprising, actually. We've had a great response this year to that. And we have 16 counsellors on the training course. Now, it did start off at 20-ish, but we had some dropouts. And some of those new recruits said they were joining Marriage Care because of our faith base and because of our values, which was very heartening. And we have, yes, this is the counselling training as it goes on. So last year's CRC, then this year's CRC, and then our new supervisors being trained. Just the numbers. And in marriage preparation, 41 were trained this year and 19 focus people in those locations. So there's quite a lot going on all the time here. And CPD, so that's the continuing professional development, which is a requirement for our counsellors, which we do try to provide for our marriage preparation people as well. Interesting to hear the Cardinal mentioning it as well as part of the marriage preparation. But that's, something we've always tried to do anyway in marriage care, even though resource-wise we probably haven't put anything like the resources into that as we have to counselling for, a variety of reasons. So quite a bit of CPD happening, just a few of them highlighted there, but 356 people, as I say, went through training. You're getting bored? It's gone very quiet. I can only hear myself. Okay. All right. It'll be over in a minute. Okay, so developments, right? I've mentioned the peer mentoring role and the domestic abuse protocol. EFT again, emotionally focused therapy, and CRC, certificate in relationship counselling. Google groups have been set up and people are beavering away and making contact, keeping contact that way. There's an EFT zone now in the members area, which is very well used. And peer supervision groups are cropping up all over, and that's for EFT. That's not your clinical supervision. I mean, those groups happen anyway, but these are people who want to get together to share the excitement and the learning of EFT, and you're forming those groups yourselves, and Gulia is assisting you with those. Another development which has now been rolled out and is in use everywhere, I would hope, is the new version of Preparing Together. So a course specifically for couples marrying in the Catholic Church, which includes the enlarged section on sacrament. And those folders are all ready. If you haven't already ordered them, they're all printed and ready to order if you need them. We didn't bring any to the conference. We had a small car this year. Focus, another development. Our partnership with Focus in the US. I was over there last month doing some training because they have now, they've agreed we're going into partnership with them. I've trained as a trainer of trainers, right? If you can kind of figure that one out. We were able to train facilitators in the organisation. We had that agreement, but they only had 3 trainers, well 4 actually, 4 trainers of trainers. No, it was 3 maybe. So if we needed a trainer trained, we had to get somebody from the US. Now, when I trained as a trainer of facilitators, somebody came from the US to do that with me. So we've been blocked because we haven't been able to train trainers. So it means that training new facilitators has been difficult with just one trainer available as such. So I went over there and I've now done that training so I can train trainers. So that will be happening early next year. And, I'll be sending out the criteria, but if you're a focused facilitator and you're passionate about it, you don't have to be as passionate as David Chiswell or the Chelmsford people, but it helps. But just passionate, and as I know you do, you absolutely, love using it and find it a really, really good tool to use with couples, then I'll be looking for candidates for selection for this training. So now there is a trainer in Australia, and there are 2 or 3 in America, and now we've one in the UK, and we have an opportunity, I think, to train people from outside organisations as well. So marriage care, it's an opportunity for us to expand our expertise actually and to sell it we hate using a word like that, don't we? Sell anything, but to do that. So that's our agreement with Focus. There were some other very positive things out of that agreement as well. Another one of the strategic priorities. Okay, so building awareness and trust and reputation. All right, so what are we doing? So building the trust of the major stakeholders, and our two major stakeholders are the Catholic Church and government. All right, so we've been doing a lot of work on that. And engaging with couples after marriage preparation courses. We will be able to do a lot more of this once we've got the new IT system in place. We'll be able to keep in contact with the couples. But at the moment, I know Sue Burridge had identified some centres and some specific courses and followed up those couples by sending them e-cards with little messages. And I know the last time I spoke to her about it, she said only one person had unsubscribed, so I don't know whether that's changed or not, but that means they didn't want to receive them anymore. So couples get a reminder that we're there, and we can begin to remind them about other things we do as we develop. And maximising the potential of our social media accounts and website. Well, you know, you heard Mark's passion this morning for social media. But you know, I'm not so sure, because on Monday I got a tweet from The Guardian and it said, Willem and Kate expecting second child. Live updates. I mean, 7 months' time maybe, but live updates? I think, yeah, that was very useful. Thank you very much. You know, I have better things to do. Maybe I'm not as big a convert as most people. Oh, sorry, Mark. Okay. The mind boggled at that one. Okay, so here, recognise any people there at Barnet and Enfield Centre. Right, David Burrows MP paid a visit. And I think he went long-term marriage prep day as well. Anybody from Barnet? Yeah, he did, actually. Yeah. Okay, so that was rather nice. And these guys, I'm sorry about the scale here, it doesn't mean anything about importance. It says nothing about importance. Sorry, Mark. I mean, they shared the podium. Okay, what more can I say? All right. I'm sure Mark will say more about that tomorrow, so I won't dwell on that. Pardon? Yeah, who's that bloke in the suit? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Ian Duncan Smith. All right, okay. But that was, I think, very significant. And, you know, the number of you who contacted and said, oh, we saw the marriage care logo beside David Cameron on the news. You know, he probably wasn't talking about anything to do with relationships at the time, because he got a bit sidelined by journalists on other topics. But however, the media work, you know, lots of media, as I said, refer to Catherine's 2 articles in the Oxford News, and local radio. I mean, there have been lots of interviews, lots of good work happening there. And national media. Now, I definitely think that's Russell Crowe up there standing in for Barclay. Definitely up top. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Very professional. Okay. Right. So our Facebook and Cinnamon Letters is I don't know what they called, a PR company, PR company that we employed to post 2 Facebook posts a week. Has anybody been getting those? Yeah, good. They're really good, aren't they? They've quite an impact. Some are very good, I think. And then Twitter. I think I've said enough about Twitter. Okay, and the tweets. So has everybody tweeted already? Relationship 14. Good. All right, then I'll check my tweets. Okay. And the website and centre email addresses, we've been doing quite a bit of work on that. And that Plain English campaign that's down there. The new folders now for marriage preparation have all gone through the Plain English campaign, vetting, editing, and they've got the mark on them to say that they're in plain English. So we will be working through any of our website stuff and any of our publicity stuff to gain that mark. Cloud Symphony I have said a little bit about, and I think you've heard enough actually, so I'm going to give you a few minutes to have a little buzz amongst yourselves before we break up for lunch. So any centre successes? Don't worry about the learning, okay? But if there's anything you want to share about what's been good, or maybe there's something that hasn't gone very well this year at your centre, so take the opportunity, because this is what you tell us when you go away that you'd like more of, sharing with the other people here. So off you go. Now's your chance, right? The ups and the downs. So you can have 6 or 7 minutes, and then we'll be breaking for lunch. Okay, I think. Yeah. Okay, everybody. Thanks. We've got microphones both sides of the room with people holding them. And if there is something you'd like to say, then just wait for the microphone to come your way. So if there's anything you want to share at this point from your discussion or from anything you've heard, it's a sharing 5 minutes. Okay. Anybody? Oh, right. Thanks.
Thank you. It's Louise Smith, Hereford, and I do marriage preparation. It's more, Bridie, something to do with what you were saying rather than shared successes, although we have had several. Yeah. But I suppose my question is, or comment, given what I understand to be Marriage Care's lead role within the Relationships Alliance for marriage preparation, I found it slightly surprising, perhaps disappointing, that couples of all faiths shouldn't be part of your major stakeholder group, and not seeking to, what I suspect was it feels like a little bit of limiting to focusing on Catholic couples. And I don't think it's an either or, I would hope it's a both and.
Right. I think this is something Mark's going to be talking about tomorrow, Louise. So can I leave that till the morning then for him to address? But thank you for bringing it up here. Thank you. Right.
Can I just follow up on that particular point? We've actually already seen 2 couples who were referred to us by the civic, the registrar.
Right.
So we're not only involved with Catholic couples. We are involved sometimes with people who have no faith at all.
Indeed. Thank you, David. And next door, Mary.
This is a counsellor problem. I don't know about other centres, but we have had 2 or 3 referrals from either the courts or from social services. And I really would like head office to actually put their thinking caps on and to give us some advice and guidelines on how to deal with these cases, because they are difficult and they are a minefield, and it does seem that there more and more of the sort of establishment are putting their problems to marriage care and expecting us to pull their irons out of the fire.
Thank you, Mary, for raising that. And yes, you're right, it is increasing, and we are looking at guidelines for counsellors, but we will certainly come back on that. Thank you.
Just on that.
Yes, David, if you use the mic.
Yes.
Thanks.
One of the things I do is I'm a mediator, and I have found a similar thing of increasing referrals from the court and social services. And it's just something that I can give possibly some input on, because in my other role I'm a barrister, and so I do understand what is actually happening fairly clearly and the reasons why. There will be an increasing number of people who will be referred to marriage care from those sources.
Thank you, David. I'll come back to you on that. That would be really helpful, really useful to talk to you about that. Thanks. Viola, are you next?
Thank you.
We've got time for about two more.
Just
yeah.
a very quick centre success, if you want to call it
yes.
that. We had a couple, non-Catholics, they were a Hindu, who came because they had been recommended to come, not just because they wanted the certificate.
Yeah.
So that was a success in itself. And they enjoyed the course, which was the day course. And when we talked about the possibility of doing a focus one, they came for the focus course as well.
Right.
So that was really very, very rewarding for us.
Thanks, Viola.
Hi, Linda Hamilton
Linda.
from Warrington, Head of Centre. Just wanted to say a really, really, really big thank you to the NSAS team. We moved over to them this year from Warrington and it's the best thing we ever did. Thank you.
Right, okay. Well done, Carol and Julie. Well done. Great. Thank you. Maybe it's time to wrap it up there on that lovely positive note. And are there any instructions for after lunch that people need to know? Well, thank you for your drop in the ocean. Right. I'm going to hand over to Mark. He obviously has some instructions. Have you for lunchtime? Yeah. I'll put that down.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Bridie. Yeah, so lunch is through to the restaurant, so you make your way back. For those of you that had breakfast this morning, it's the same place you were there for breakfast, so find your way through there. We've got a good break for lunch, so about an hour and a half, so you can connect together and enjoy some time together, enjoy the grounds if you want to, so please take the time to do that. And then we're really looking forward to welcoming Bill this afternoon and hearing what he's got to say as well. So enjoy yourselves over lunch, relax, enjoy the food and the venue, and we'll see you back here. If you could, again, try and make it back here for 2:25, that would be lovely. Thank you.